Going live here to work on the comic. Pick my pencil topper. I think we're going to do some genuine giraffe here today. Live on all the VeeFriends channels. Let's go with this view. Let me go ahead and move my little face here. Make myself a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. This is the deep work stream for VeeFriends comic. Thanks for reading the comics. If you're new to VeeFriends, there's over 280 characters, different character traits, created by Gary Vaynerchuk. And if you're familiar with VeeFriends, well, then thanks for tuning in. Thank you for sharing the comics, liking the comics. See Green Dog from Twitter. Hello. Heart Trooper over there on Twitch. We're live on Twitch, TikTok. And I can't get Instagram to work still, so oh well. Sorry, Instagram. Real quick look at today's comic. Let's see here before I dive in. Let's go into check out the time-lapse replay on this. I always start small like that. Kind of just get the pose. Also, otters kind of eat on their backs. So with this comic today, I made sure that the otter was laying on its back. Not very sanitary, but you know, whatever. It's a fun one. Fills the check mark of getting Cynical Cat and Optimistic Otter and at least one day a week. That's what Gary wants there. And today we're working on tomorrow's strip. I'll talk a little bit about my process and my plan here. Today we have LinkedIn Larry. So if you're familiar with LinkedIn at all, be a troll or pay the toll. Atomic Crypto, Green Dog, Ryan. Who is on the team of writers? We are the process there. Let me get my brush going here real quick. Make sure I'm on the right layer. I was not. Primarily, it's all the comic ideas come from things that Gary said or the character traits from VeeFriends. I'm at the helm. I'm DJ Kaufman. As far as the drawing and the production and the writing goes. And then we have a team effort. So we have a team creation board. So for example, this specific strip from about LinkedIn Larry came from Andy, the Prez. We're liking putting more and more real characters, like real humans in the strip. Turn down this music a little bit. Hey, over on TikTok. Actually, let me put my TikTok stream up. I forgot to do that. Forgot to get that going. We'll get in here. Just so I can see the TikTok chat too. My bad, TikTok. Thanks for watching, guys. Live on TikTok. That's all right. Now we're cooking. Jared over on TikTok. Ken over on TikTok. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you're new to VeeFriends, and I just closed my screen. Boy, you know. All right, my chats are up. You can see what's up. I'll glance up occasionally. If you guys want to post your favorite VeeFriend into the chat, please do that. and why. I always like to hear why you're digging that, VeeFriend. And today's comic is about LinkedIn Larry here. So let's get that going. So yeah, there's a great deal of work that goes on behind the scenes here. Let's get into it here while I'm working. You can see how I was messing around with, like, did I want him to be like smiling or going ooh, like boom? So like boom, just made my 101,000th connection. This one's a little more detailed because I decided to take a computer screen look like he's in his sales call here. And I'm gonna work on that right now. Be live for the next 90 minutes or so. Working on this strip. This is tomorrow's strip, so if you're joining right now, you're getting a sneak peek. I'm looking at Sensible Sommelier because I'm about to choose which wine to have. Miss Hill said, great. Did you know that the wine TV is coming back today at 4, I think, on Gary's channels. So make sure you check that out. It's going to be fun. 18 years ago, he put up his first piece of content. That's crazy. That's crazy. His YouTube channel, right? For Wine Library TV. Funny story about that is sometimes when people ask me, when did you first discover Gary? And I was all over the internet back then too. So I was on Ustream, still doing the same thing I'm doing now, cartooning and comics. And I got invited to like some kind of wine party thing, and I knew nothing about wine at all. And somehow I found it wasn't even like good SEO at the time or anything like that. So I found a wine video from Gary talking about the different styles of, like, red versus white and all this stuff. And like, cause I like a sweet wine cause I'm a baby. And I just wanted to know a little bit more about what I was talking about going into this party. I had a lot of anxiety about going and thinking like, I don't know anything about this. Why am I doing this? And that's the first experience I ever had with Gary. Watching Gary was on a wine video, like totally true story. And then years later, I was always like into the entrepreneur space and like following a lot of like how to build your content as a cartoonist. A lot of us cartoonists would follow the advice of people like Gary and other people, Chris Brogan, Seth Godin, like all the cool marketers out there. And I saw Gary and I'm like, this guy looks familiar. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's the wine dude. And then it was like, he was talking about Wine Library TV. And I was like, I can't believe that's the same guy. Small world. Like, this guy's omnipresent. So it's funny. Small world out there. And a follow-up to that story is that I went to that wine party thing, and I worked myself up for no reason. Like, nobody asked me anything. I thought I'd have to know things, and it was just a bunch of bottles of wine and people eating cheese and just hanging out. I was like, oh man. I prefer other beverages, I guess. So he's pretty small on this screen. So I'm going to actually do something a little bit different on this stream. I'm showing the words because I'm going to go in here and make these words bend how I want them to into the fake UX of Sales Whiz. So the idea here is that this guy's got a lot of connections, right? He has over 101,000 connections, but nobody showed up for his sales call thingy. 0 attending. Miss L says Gary swearing in a TED Talk caught her attention. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. It's definitely grabs your attention, doesn't it? Doesn't talk like the other folks on the internet, or he didn't at the time. Of course, there's a million people that like try to pretend to be things that they're not now, but he's one of a kind, that's for sure. I was just listening in. It's incredible, you know, like his accessibility to, like, even though he's super busy, Gary is super busy. He jumped into one of those Twitter spaces talking about the brand for Web3 and like his thoughts on that. And, like, just for him to pop in the middle of a day, you know, when he's running one of the world's biggest advertising agencies, it's pretty incredible. The accessibility that and the passion that he has for all this stuff. These VeeFriends are definitely his baby. I'm gonna cheat on this keyboard. I'm not gonna draw every single key, you know. I'm just gonna throw the shapes in there. I want that face to be a little bit more like, can't believe it. Yeah, people are really liking Bare Minimum Bob from the strip. I'm not sure if you've seen the Bare Minimum Bob comic. People really like that. Sufi over on TikTok is a fan of the astronaut. Got an astronaut strip that I'm working on too. I don't know. I can't say when it's going to come out. One of my main missions behind the scenes is to get ahead, comfortably ahead, and I've got a plan for that I'm working right now. So it involves a lot more like evergreen comics. Like, this is tomorrow's comic strip today. So every day, my current plan is every day when I wake up and start work, I ask myself 2 questions. And that is tomorrow's comic done? Well, then no. Then, of course, then I start working on that comic until it's done. If tomorrow's comic gets done, then I ask myself, is Sunday's comic done? And I proceed to work on that. If both are true, if Sunday's comic is done and tomorrow's comic is done, then I can proceed to the Evergreen Bank. And I won't touch the Evergreen Bank until there's 10 in it. 10 strips of like a wider ranging topic or something we've talked about. Because right now it's tempting just to like load up as you go. But that's not really how you get ahead. And in this way, something I didn't mention to the team was we can also be a little more topical if we wanted to. Like, for example, last week or the week before when the AI video thing dropped and everyone freaked out about that, where the AI is making like videos. Let's go over on TikTok. It's a little hard to see this time. Let me zoom in on that a little bit for you. little bit there for you. I could have made a joke about that, and we would have been pretty timely. And I still think it's probably timeless. It's something that I'm specifically working on, is like, how do we don't want the comics to be dated too much. Like, they can be of a time, but we'd like them to be that you can read them years from now and still feel like they're timeless, a snapshot in time. But internet culture makes it really hard. Like, if you're just chasing trends, then it's just like a social thing that might not make sense in a year or something like that. If that makes sense. So I'm always thinking about that. Nobody is in the chat. So you can see how I'm like kind of like tilting this a bit. Okay. Yeah, Adventurous Astronaut's fun to draw. Ken said he drew an Adventurous Astronaut the other day. I think I kind of want there to be like, nobody is in the chat. Emphasized. Right. Oh, I forgot to do the you are the only one here. So what I do is I just select the lettering. It's on a different layer. I got this set to distort down here on the very bottom. You guys can't see my hands on YouTube. My camera wouldn't work. Over on TikTok, you can see my hands. My wonderful hands. You are the only one here. I know that's an actual line from the Blue Jeans. There's a Blue Jeans video conferencing software. One day I got up super early for like 3 a.m. It was a 3 a.m. call because I was working for a European company. I got up to be on this call, and I got on, and I'm like, and it was just a picture of me, and it's like, you are the only one here. And no one showed up for the meeting, and I was like, what in the world just happened? Why did I wake up for this call? I took a screenshot of that. It was just me looking at myself going like, I can't believe this. You were the only one here. And I was like, wow, this is deep. So alone. Tatiana Hippo Tail says, I can't draw and talk at the same time. This is some advanced skills. I don't know. I'm just kind of letting my thoughts keep a filter on, of course, because, you don't want to get too crazy. But kind of just narrating what I'm thinking about here. I sent out 158,000 messages just the way they said it would work. Okay. Then this was getting a little tricky over here. So I gotta fix this a little bit. I don't need it to say that anymore. Oops. I'm gonna kill this line. And I can move this down. Move the pencils down a little bit. Maybe even just blow it up a little bit. That's good. Okay, great. And then I can this is on that layer. So I can just grab both of these Move these back down into their space. Then I gotta get this other layer here. Just a little bit of, this is the deep work, right? That's why I call it the deep work stream. He's like, wait, you're a real werewolf? So the VeeFriend here is well-connected werewolf. That's the joke. Is that this man is not, LinkedIn Larry here is not very well-connected. It's fake. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more penciling. I'm going to clean up these pencils a little bit. There's a lot going on in this one. I decided to make the, instead of the characters just sitting there talking to each other, like that's okay now and then. I wanted to make it like, why not have them in the Zoom call like situation? Like, so the screen is the Zoom call that LinkedIn Larry's in. Nobody's in the chat. And then now it's like a new user has joined the call. And I'm going to switch this balloon here just a little bit. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Joseph, Wednesday is going pretty well. For me, thanks. Same to you. I've got an interesting situation where, you know, I can look up at the chat occasionally and kind of just glance and see what's going on. Say hello. So it's almost like you're walking by my studio and peeking in for a minute. Some people ask what happens when I'm not live. And it's the same thing. I mean, I'll sit here talking to myself, but I'm listening to a podcast or probably some real music. On these streams, I got to listen to some like copyright free music or whatever. So I'm going to listen to some rock and roll probably. All right, that's inkable. And then the last panel is this lettering is changing. I got a note, so I got to switch up this lettering. Just a bit. I got to check out this real quick. We're changing this back to sure am. Oh, wrong thing. Sure am. You would have known if you worked on being more human instead of a connection bot. I dare you to try and see what happens. Courtesy of our president, Andy K. This gag, or this not gag, I don't like to call it a gag. This was one of his ideas, and sometimes I'll take the ideas and just kind of run with them and put my own lettering in there and stuff. So we go back and forth sometimes on text and Messenger and stuff like that. It's a fun way. I don't know. I think it's a fun way of working together. And LinkedIn Larry here is in a coffee shop of some kind. Oh, that's very nice, Tatiana. Which yesterday I showed my husband your last comic. Was it the Ambitious Angel comic or was it the Subway comic? And I appreciate you sharing the comics with a lot of got a lot of people that pop in and they're like, how can I, how can I support the comic, or how can I support your work? How can I support VeeFriends? And I always just tell them, like, that's the best thing for, in my mind, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars or anything like that right now. You can just share the work, share the post, share the comic, tag someone you like. I mean, look at this cute little werewolf guy. Come on. Sweet. All right, now we're going to fade out these lines, and back to inking. I'm going to be able to jam through this and probably start right into the coloring. I'm going to go. The rules I set for myself is I have no other meetings today, so I'll be working on. This comic until it's done and turned in. Okay. Thanks for watching, hanging out for a few. You can hit the like button on your way out, or subscribe, or whatever channel you're on. It really helps. I have over in my drawing club, one of my members reached out and said, hey, I mentioned in my newsletter that I'm thinking about going live every morning just because I'm insane. And he's like, hey, there's an artist, I forget the name of the artist right now off the top of my head. There's another artist on YouTube that's going live every morning, and it's called like Morning Sketches. But he doesn't talk at all. And there's no music. There's nothing. It's just like his hand drawing. And I said, that's cool. I can't imagine not engaging. I think that's kind of the part, is that I'm live. I'm going to look up and go, hey, what's up, John? Or how's it going, Dan? Is it Kenneth Rockefort? Dan, were you the one that sent me that message? Kenneth Rockefort on YouTube goes live every morning. Neil, see you there. Neil T. Yeah, I've kind of been sorry guys, I've been neglecting my own brand. For those that don't know, I do a daily drawing club, or a motivational brand for artists called Draw or Die. You'll see that red skull behind me, skull hat, and all that stuff. It's kind of like stoicism meets whatever art. Just keep artists encouraged. It's kind of my mission in life. Keep my friends encouraged and moving, because being a creative is not easy. You don't often get the support from folks like VeeFriends and Gary, and there's a lot of artists out there that struggle, to get through the day, and I like to talk to them. They're my friends. They're my art friends. Anyways, yeah, it sounds crazy when I'm talking about live streaming, and I think it's really the future for, I know it's not new, but I think it's the future for artists to build their communities and go live and watch what you're doing. That's cool. I haven't had time to check that out, Dan. Kenneth Rockefort streams live every morning on YouTube. He says hi in the chat, and then the community talks with each other. That's pretty awesome. That's really good. Not just for the community aspect, but also for his brand building. Like, it's going to help him build his channel, getting that watch time on YouTube and all that stuff. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, I'll be getting back to doing some of the content for my brand in the evenings. I've just been really busy with this comic and figuring out, it's a new job for me. I'm getting more comfortable drawing the characters, and there was a lot to kind of take in the first month or two here, just to kind of absorb and get the vibe for everything. And I'm feeling pretty good. So I still put out the weekly newsletter and the daily drawing club that we have, and I don't really promote it much. To me, it's not really about, building that up into like a business. It's more like a side thing that I do and to help artists. So draw or die. Dan, we're talking about it. Dan said if I streamed every morning, I'd probably be able to tune in most days. Yeah, I'm pretty aware of, most people's schedules. You have work and whatnot, but I'm thinking like we talk about it a little bit on these streams, but like ideal times, we've been doing it in the afternoon here for the last month or so and testing that out, and it's not a whole lot of people, but it doesn't matter. It's not about the amount of people. It's more like that you found it and that you're here and engaging, and that's nice. Maybe it's just for a few minutes on your lunch break or something like that. But there's also an accountability aspect to it. I think for me, I'm drawing a daily comic strip right now, and being live, I can't be anywhere else. If my dog wants to take a walk right now, too bad. Gotta wait. Or, you can procrastinate at a lot of things. Artists especially, creators especially. Like, oh, I'm going to go read that thing, or oh, what's over on the bookshelf, or you can definitely procrastinate a lot of hours away if you let yourself. But I'm pretty disciplined with that. But the idea of locking yourself to a stream for an hour every morning, you would get so much work done. If you're an artist out there listening, you'd be shocked how much you can get done in 90 minutes every morning. Tatiana said, your comics are part of my life now. I read them every day and it is helping me a lot. That's awesome. That's very nice to hear. I'm hoping that it's a good mix of fun and some lessons like the Werewolf's given here today. LinkedIn Larry. Pictured LinkedIn Larry having like real slick back hair. And like, I don't know. He's like the archetype of the model of people that are on my own Instagram that come in out of the blue and they're like, are you going to join my sales call on Wednesday at 2? And I'm like, no. I don't know who you are. I used to be so kind all the time. I'd answer everybody, even the spammy things. I'd be like, oh, this doesn't sound like a fit for me, but I hope good luck. And then they couldn't help but respond again and say, like, but you could, you could join me for this. What kind of things do you do? And then they try like steer you right into their web. And I get it. I know. I get sales and all that. I get it. I know exactly what's happening. The thing is, if they knew that you knew exactly what's happening, then maybe they'd perform differently. Same thing, the reason why I avoid furniture stores and things like that, car lots. I can't stand it. It's just not high pressure, but you know that they're doing a thing. I'm like, okay, I got it. LinkedIn Larry. And in this panel, he's kind of like, what? BeCollectibles89, thanks for watching on TikTok. May Maxfield just joined on TikTok. May Maxfield's girlfriend just joined on TikTok, sorry. If you're new to VeeFriends, I'm currently drawing the VeeFriends daily comic strip here, and it's a world of over 280 characters, all different types of traits. Here in this comic, we have well-connected Werewolf giving LinkedIn Larry a little lesson today. Just that if you if you were to get to know your audience a little bit better, you'd probably sell more things. Andrew Wilson. Hey, Andrew. Just double check. Nope. Kind of what's going on with well-connected Werewolf. What's up with his little belly button? That's cute. All right, that's inked up. I'm not doing the bare minimum. That's for sure. I'm not a bare minimum Bob. I'm just like, is this ready to color? And then I move on. Some of these I have to decide like what shape and size they are because it hasn't really been decided upon in any official capacity. And for me, a werewolf's probably like a small human. Small human size. You know. A humanoid. You might think, I'm sure other artists maybe have fallen into this where like you're drawing them. When you see the VeeFriends, you think like teddy bears and plushies and things, or tiny small things. But when Gary describes them, he's talking about them in having shape and size, like a cannibal ant being very small compared to Gracious Grizzly, those kind of things. And then when I'm drawing them too, I'm constantly taking notes. You can't see, I've got this little pad of paper over here off the side of my screen. Because I might think of something like maybe someone tries to sell well-connected Werewolf some pants. He's kind of got some Hulk pants going on there. He's shopping at Incredible Hulk's House of Pants. My poor cat. My poor cat. She wants in this. All right. Come on. He's got like sinister eyebrows too. See, Andy was watching. Hey, Andy. Hope I'm doing your idea proud here. A good one. I know some well-connected werewolves. I know some LinkedIn Larrys too. Can't even open my LinkedIn anymore without a million messages. I get it. It's a job. People gotta hustle. Also, it's not enough to be like, okay, I gotta figure out something that's like for salespeople. Like, so in this case, he's saying like, hey, why don't you find something out, something more about me being more human instead of a connection bot? Like, did you ever ask the people something not related to your work or your sales pitch? That can also seem robotic if they're like, what are your hobbies? Like, you actually have to care, you know? Funny thing, I have a funny story about that. About sales and marketing and stuff. Years ago, I ran a decent sized team of pretty junior marketers. There was a young lady that was on my team, and I was giving her some strategies and saying like, hey, you know, reach out to skateboarders. Like, and she had so many, her KPIs were pretty much like reach out to so many different topics, influencers that are in those fields like skateboarding or extreme sports, and reach out to them and find out, like, follow them and learn about them. Don't just reach out and say like, do you want to launch a shop with us, or do you want our services? Like, it was like, actually find something interesting about them and then ask them a question and be meaningful about it. Be like, hey, what kind of markers are you using and why? And then learn about it. And she just was like, but I don't care. I'm like, well, yeah, but that's part of your job, is to learn and have to care, right? That's how I was looking at it. She complained to another person. It was like, it's sociopathic to pretend to care about it. I'm like, oh, you know, you either get what I was saying or not. But I don't think being fake, you have to be authentic. So you have to authentically care about people to be like a really good at marketing or sales. You could be slimy and you could be fake, but people see through that. They know, oh, here comes the pitch, right? Like, you gotta. I would always use, when I was in marketing and that side, I would use it to learn, as a storyteller and artist. Like, I want to know what's the best. Like, what are skateboarders using for? Like, what's the best skateboard T-shirts? I'm curious, you know. and why? I've just always been curious that way. So I guess that just made me naturally a good storyteller and marketer. I just want to understand. Like, I kind of want to understand intellectual properties better. Why do people like Spider-Man? Why do people like Batman opposed to Spider-Man? Why do people read VeeFriends every day? It's kind of interesting to think about. Billy Robbins over on TikTok. Hello. Not a whole lot of people today. It's okay. Thanks for watching and listening to me yammer. Ink. Be live for about another hour or so. Probably get to coloring the strip on the stream here in a minute. Oops. Arshad is watching over on TikTok live. Thanks, Arshad, for watching. If you're new to VeeFriends, check out our main account, VeeFriends.com. Got a collectible trading card game, all kinds of stuff going on. VCon will be coming up in August. I'll probably be there drawing live. Probably. I want to be. I think it's funny that the werewolf is like at the very end. Now he's in the same room with the guy. LinkedIn Larry here. I'm giving LinkedIn Larry a haircut of a friend that I had in high school that would have been a very good sleazy salesman. Or not sleazy, but slickster. Miss Ills, good luck on the bid for the Mattel Uno VeeFriends card game. What are those going for these days? There's been all kinds of partnerships. There's with VeeFriends, and there's the VeeFriends and Masters of the Universe thing that just came out. That looks awesome. You know, one of my favorites. I don't even know what to call them. Entertainers, movie stars, movie guys, and storytellers. Storyteller. Kevin Smith. He's really involved in the Masters of the Universe cartoon. Love Kevin Smith and all those old Jersey boys. Did some work for them in the past. Lifetime ago. Kevin Smith was awesome. He helped get us in comic stores. He has his Jay and Silent Bob store in New Jersey. And yeah, he helped us get into comic shops and super cool guy. sad to me because I'll mention to people now. I'll be like, "Oh, Jay and Silent Bob, Kevin Smith," and the people are like, "What? Like who?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I thought everybody knew who that was." But, it's a certain little circle of you either know them or you don't. You Askew Boys, Smodcast, and all that. Yeah, that's my Gen X roots. Tatiana said this is also a Procreate class. I've had so many artists that watch me and they try to get me to go to other apps. DJ, are you trying? Everybody's always trying to get me to go to Clip Studio Paint, and I've tried that in the past. I just don't like it. It doesn't feel as natural. Adobe Fresco. Got a lot of people asking me to draw or try Adobe Fresco. I have it. I just don't have time to mess with it. I'm open to it. I'm open to learning other programs, but I like Procreate. I'm fast at it. It does its job. And this is such a small little detail. It's going to be faded out, but it's going to say like coffee house. Because LinkedIn Larry's doing his Zoom call from a coffee shop, of course. We'll go with the German spelling. House. Shout out to all my German friends. Yeah, the learning curve of those other drawing programs, maybe. I don't know. I've always drawn the same way traditionally in different layers. So if I open up a new program, I'm going to be like pencil layer, ink layer, color layer, letterings on top of that, balloons, all that stuff. All right, this is looking pretty good. This is looking pretty. I'd say this is about ready to color. I'm going to do a little bit more subtle background lines over here. People with cups, other tables, digitally paint those in. Then when I'm in here doing this kind of stuff, I sometimes like to hide things, Let's see. Very excited. LinkedIn Larry's slicked back hair. So I like the expression of ooh. What a debate here, but it goes from like aha to more like a boom. So like the oom. I think I'm sticking with that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now we move on to the coloring. I think this is decent enough for me to get to coloring now. Turn on the background layer, turn off these pencils. Okay. Figure out how I want to approach this one. Usually I'll jump around if I'm not on camera. I'll jump around, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and approach every panel one by one for the sake of making it interesting for the stream, I guess. Let's try that. So I know that it's mainly going to be flesh tone, so I'm just going to go ahead and outline and flatten this whole figure here. Doesn't matter that it's peach. It'll help me isolate the character from the background a little bit. Really pick any color, to be honest, but to do this, sometimes I do it with gray, but since I know there's going to be some flesh tone there, I just went ahead and just pick that. Just do that. All right. Checked in with our legal eagle, Alex, today because I was just wondering. I'm like, this is, I'd say this is parody, right? Calling him LinkedIn Larry, and it is. Like, do we need to respell it? There's no confusion that this is not a real LinkedIn product. This is not a real man. So I'm going to isolate that layer, and then now we can give him. I think I kind of want to give him like a blue suit, although no, bare minimum Bob has a blue suit, so let's give LinkedIn Larry like a burgundy suit. Let's do that. I think that works. Let's go. Right. You can also see now that wherever I use that color, I can see the gaps. Let's do the base color here. All the base colors, then we'll go back in and switch it up. Do some shading. All right. The undershirt color, I think we're just going to go with white. Maybe a little bit darker tie. white. Out there, some white over here. It's gonna have white in its eyes. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit this well. I'll put the balloons on their own layer above it. Too deep, too deep. Just so I don't act. I mean, it doesn't really matter. This extent won't make sense actually to do that. I'm just gonna do both. Grab a darker color and then, you know, throw in some shadow just away from the light source. Yeah, see what I mean? Should have put that on another layer. That's why I did it, because like I got like color through sometimes. So now I got to work myself around this bubble. And different choices every time. You can do it both ways, really, if you want. Since this is all underneath here, I'm just going to go ahead and color that in. Why not? Little touches like that, just adding a little wrinkle to the suit. You know, just little touches make a difference. Skunk Bear 181 on TikTok. Thanks for joining. It's okay. There's no late. You know, I appreciate you joining, watching for a little bit, hanging out. Hey, Miss Els, thanks for watching. See you soon. See you back here at some point. Lots more comics to come. Just getting started, really, in a lot of ways. We're still only in month 2. You know, we're getting up on about 2 months pretty soon. That's pretty good. Gary says we got like 50 years to go, so we're gonna stay healthy. Started back doing some fasting today. Just wait. It's funny, people like, gotta live longer because I got more comics to draw. I need like a cat door that allows the cat to just freely open it and close it. She can never decide if she wants in or out. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll on these streams, if I'm getting to the coloring stage, I'll just, instead of jumping around, I'll just finish a panel and then move on to the next panel. It's hard for me to do that for a lot of reasons. And I know that that's going to be a different color, so we are going to have like a blue color here. Linked in Larry's caption. So yeah, we got LinkedIn Larry, got Bare Minimum Bob, picking on these humans. Everyone knows a LinkedIn Larry. Don't be a LinkedIn Larry. See, I would usually jump around and like start hitting this color into all of the places, but I'm not going to do that. I just gotta stay focused. Challenging myself. What color eyes does LinkedIn Larry have? Green. Let's see what that looks like. We'll go with it. We'll go with it. I was gonna say blue, but you know, green's looking pretty good. A little more shadow on this face to kind of. It's almost like sculpting to kind of come around and go. The cheekbone, just from the shadows. Very satisfying to do that. Same thing with the forehead here. Darken that in. The more you give it depth, and I'm going to go ahead and grab another highlight here. It's kind of hard to see these on the stream. The coloring that's happening. The coloring is a little bit better looking on TikTok, to be honest. Just because it's very saturated on the YouTube stream. I don't know why. OBS, something like that, is making it really saturated. We'll fix it at some point. We'll fix it, get it fixed up, but it's not the priority right now. Okay, so then work on this background. I'm gonna go ahead and just select the background. I kind of want to use LinkedIn colors, like just bluish, like a bluish gray and white. So I'm just gonna fill that in. Whoop. Wrong layer. Fill that in. Go to my gouache brush. Pump that up a little bit. Same thing, just go. Change the color to a darker blue. Paint in a little on the edges. Even more white right around this area there. Then I'm going to do this other little trick that I like to do, where I select, freehand select. I'm just going to go ahead and draw like a little thing underneath this. So. Then I'll go to brightness and highlight. Just increase the brightness. Boom, that's how the sausage is made. Then we got this little line here for like a motion line, kind of like he's pumping his fist. I'll isolate those lines. Switch my brush, and now I can paint right over that. Don't really want it to look like a Okay, good. Same thing with LinkedIn Larry here. Where's his words? Switch it to white. Nope. White. And then back to the color block, and I'm just going to select the light blue from down in here, like that, and then draw over the lines right here. Just to give it a little different caption box style. Looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Okay. Panel done. Well, can noodle with it a lot, but I'll throw some gray in. Oops. Throw some gray in here and little wrinkles. Hey, Victor, over on TikTok. How you doing? Savvy, thanks for saying that. So the ability to create emotions with such simplicity. It's cartooning, you know. It's part of the art of cartooning. So I just grabbed the same color of his jacket, threw it into his. Boom! Just made my 100. Oh, I did forget the color of his phone, so we'll get like a titanium grayish. I almost went live on Monday. It's President's Day, but I was still kind of working, to be honest. I was going to do a surprise stream, but I just decided to hunker down and make a plan and plan my week out a bit. Then you realize, like, I don't know, any other job you might have. I was talking to my old boss actually on Monday, and he was so impressed. He's like, "Wow, you go live that many times?" And I'm like, "Well, dude, you're on. Think about it. You're on video calls all day." He's like, "Huh." It's like you just got to reframe that perspective. You're on video calls that aren't very productive. You know, you're in meetings all day long, but it's like, what are you actually doing? So, in a strange way, the cat hair. In a strange way, it keeps you accountable. Accountable ant. Jefferson over on Facebook. Hello. If you're new to VeeFriends or not, let me know. If you're not new to VeeFriends, tell me what your favorite VeeFriend is in the chat or in the comments. I'm live on all of the channels. Jefferson's over there on Facebook. Savvy's on Twitch. Dan's on YouTube. Victor's on TikTok. Skunk Bear's still watching, I think, over on TikTok. Thanks. Thank you for watching. I don't have Corso in the chat to like really hype up the likes over on the YouTube. Or I mean on the TikTok. So you guys are gonna have to hype up your own chat. Oh, Victor, you got your Radical Rabbit hoodie. Your card should be coming soon. I'm gonna Make sure that that's being sent to you. Your sketch card. It's not there. It'll be there soon. Okay, I think this panel's done. I'm going to leave it. Let's go to the next panel. And I'm going to stick to the background first. So since I already have this blue, I'll just grab this. And let's just cover it. Color the boxes a little bit. Do that. I want that to be that, and I want it to be same color red. Red always kind of pops off of yellow in a nice way. Oops. Wrong layer. Okay. Safi wants to see a kind warrior army. Get a comic with a male and female rendering kind warrior army on the march. Jefferson says his favorite characters, amazing characters. It's a hard question. There's a character, there's something, an opportunity to learn something from all of the characters. This is true. If you had to pick one right now, at the moment, what's your character of the moment, Jefferson? I do that too. If someone will ask, like, what's your favorite character? And I'm like, well, that's tough for me. Okay, I'm gonna go in here. Start working on this laptop color. I want it to be a little bit brighter than that. A little blue. Oh, I forgot I'm on the other layer, so I can just... Come on. What is happening right now? Oh. I changed my eraser brush to the gouache brush. Gouache is like smeary, you know? Okay. So go on and just lock in this blue, silver, blue, light blue color, silver. Let's see here. That. And probably like a darker color for the inside of this. Kind of like a fake, coloring up a fake UX right now of Sales Whiz. One of those live CRM platforms. So this will be the screen without anything on it. I'm just going to pick a different type of background, probably something orange. I think so. That's a little too much. Okay, never mind that. Like purple. Jefferson asked, how do I visualize the storyline? It's a good question. I think the number one thing, and you said you have a hard time telling stories. First thing you need to think about are the characters, really. And in this case, when we're drawing these strips or writing these strips, we're thinking about problems that people have, just like business, I guess. You think up a problem that people are struggling with, a situation, like a lot of the sitcoms, situation comedies. You put the characters in a situation and then you see how they're going to react. That's really the magic of it, really, with any kind of story, is first you got to know the characters and the voice. If all the characters sound the same, then it just is bad. Stories are bad if it sounds like the same person. So I kind of have a thought for like how LinkedIn Larry might sound, which kind of also helps how he looks. Which I won't be doing voices or anything like that. I'm just, if you can express how you think his character might sound by the way he looks. It's interesting, pretty powerful. But that's the real formula. Just take characters and drop them into a situation and ask yourself, how does that play out? Some of the legends of cartoon strips and comic books would start at the very end. They would say, okay, I want the joke, or I want the punchline, or I want the adventure to end, whether it's a joke or a story or a moral or something like that. They would write the ending first and then work backwards to it. So in this case, if we know that we want well-connected werewolf to show up, where do we begin? We begin with him excited that he's going to fill up his sales calls. And we just work our way backwards. I think that's pretty much the formula. Start at the end and then figure out how to get there. Can't believe we're coming up on 90 minutes already. Wow. That went by super fast. Probably end up coloring in these lines. You can see this finished strip tomorrow morning when it's completely done. And if you read it tomorrow and say you were on the stream and you watched it redrawn live, you hung out for a little bit. Hey, it's me, Patron from Twitch. What's up? Tatiana asked, how do you know how to combine your colors? I think that's just a artistic choice. There's certain colors that, color theory that you can learn, but I don't really get too deep into that. I just go like, this color looks good and pops off the contrast. If I'm making up a fake UX for this Sales Whiz app, I'm just gonna find some colors that pop off enough. So light blues and purples and something that's easy to read and colorful. And then I think it's just a matter of repetition, to be honest. Doing it over and over again, you kind of just know what looks good with what. Hey, Thetum, the TMKA. Is it the TMKA Twitch? Thanks for checking out the stream. I'm working on the VeeFriends comic right now, the daily comic strip for VeeFriends. Comes out every day, Monday through Sunday. Sunday strip is bigger. Appreciate everybody watching and sharing the comics every day, commenting. Lets us know which ones are vibing. With the audience. If there's any characters you want to see in the upcoming strips, throw them in the chat. We listen. We listen. It's hard to choose sometimes. There's a lot. There's a lot of characters to choose from. I haven't drawn all the characters yet. Yeah, we plan the stories out. We've got a few weeks of strips planned and different stages, and then there's also some bigger themes that we want to hit on and experiment with. A little more storytelling that are more than just jokes. Kind of like a week-long journey. Of course, you got like we think of it like a soap opera, kind of. So there's some subplots that go on, and we want to touch base on, like the vibe thing, like what happened to the. What's up with the burglar? Like, why is he still burglaring? You know, we want to touch back in on those stories occasionally. I'd say we have a few things that are recurring that happen. Of course, we had the not like bison versus catfish or whatever. You know, like that was kind of a smaller thing, but there's recurring little jokes and things that happen. We'll touch on. I kind of like that soap opera analogy. We'll get back to those plots, or maybe we'll resolve the vibe story soon. And, you know, oh, no, I don't like that. A little darker. That's better. Comic that talks about mental health, yeah. I try to touch on some of those topics, so that's definitely. Even the reflective rhinoceros one the other day. I like to do those kind that just talk about. You might have something on your mind. Don't keep it to yourself. You need to talk to someone. Like, I guess it's kindly, thinly veiled. You know, you can talk to a tree. You know, just find a good listener. You know, sometimes just talking about things gets it out, especially for kids. You know. I don't want to do that. Yeah. Lighter color for that. Sales Wiz. Just going to go ahead and just do a little bit more on this. Thanks for watching the stream today. The more I stream, the more I want to do it. Like I could just stay here the whole entire strip, probably. Free up the channels soon for our other show. We got what's going on today? Let me look at the calendar real quick. I'm just curious. 4:44, we've got live gameplay for I think that's on all channels. I'm not sure. But live VeeFriends card gameplay, and then tonight is the 5:55 Spaces over on Twitter with our Jeremy on the team. Jeremy knows. There's a lot going on. Right, so yeah, I'm really zoomed in when I'm doing this. Like no one's ever gonna zoom in that close. But when you zoom out, it makes a difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. I kind of want to do a blue, more blue on that. You are the only one here. Attending, 0 attending. So see, I'm just going over the black and turning it to blue. Make it a little more. Nobody is in the chat. Thank you guys for being in the chat, hanging out for a little bit. Hope you guys have a good Wednesday. Thanks again for reading the comic. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting VeeFriends. Be an awesome community out there if you're new to VeeFriends and watching this, because there's a few people that pop in and out from the comics world that I know. Well, check out VeeFriends. It's fun. Our main purpose is to, amplify more happiness out into the world. Hopefully we're doing that through some comics, but just the overall vibe of the community and being kind to each other and other strangers. Supportive. I think it's a simple thing that you can do that's free. Just be kind to a stranger today. Oh, Savi, reading that. Really sorry to hear about your brothers, and I'm glad that comic hit good for you. Yeah. Everybody's got struggles out there. It's tough. I always tell my artist friends, I have a lot of art friends, mostly art friends, that are dealing with all kinds of adversity. And really, I've dealt with adversity too, and troubles and darker stuff. And I think it's just a matter of perspective and kind of seeing, like, what can I learn from this, even though it sucks. You don't think that when you're in it. But over time, I have a lot of appreciation for some of the harder moments and sad moments I've had to go through in life, for sure. Just made me give a different perspective of being grateful for a lot of things. Just waking up every day, man, no kidding. I wake up every day and get out of bed, my feet hit the floor, And I'm just so glad I can feel my feet. I just say like a little quiet thing to myself and just be like, wow, I'm so glad that I'm here. And I'm going to be able to do some stuff today, do what I love. It gives me a lot of gratitude. So thanks. If it weren't for people that read the comics and like the comics, I wouldn't be here either. So they kicked me out of this joint, uh, hopefully not. I'm gonna go ahead and just color this one last thing. A little table action here. Let's see. A little brown. And oops. Yeah, people need to hear it too from other people. So a lot of my art friends feel like they don't have a voice, and boy, you got more. You're so blessed to have a talent, visual communication to help other people. I think it's awesome. It's something you got to get to yourself, though. If you're an artist, you got to come to that moment and realize that it's bigger than just making money or putting out stuff that you like. It's more, wow, you can actually leave a little bit of a dent somewhere for someone. It's nice. All right. Well, you got these two panels. Not bad for 90 minutes. I got these two. I got the whole thing inked. You can see the final comic strip tomorrow. Tomorrow's comic. There's our man, well-connected Werewolf. Tune in to see how he comes out in color. And that's the end of the stream officially. Even though I want to keep going, but I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to shut this off. Get to work. So thanks you. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go big for a second. Just for a second. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys in the chat. I'll be back. I'll be back Friday. Check the schedule. I think 1 o'clock again. On all the channels. We'll do like a comic show version of this, maybe a little bit more. And then we'll continue with the deep work, doing the comic strip every day. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.